with that being said, a woman's place is next to her man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But theoretically, she's there to uplift us.
Okay.
They always have been. They're so much stronger than us, and what I'm saying, in so many different ways.
Okay.
So,
right.
It's a great adage by saying, they should be by our side. Well, they're always going to be by our side.
Right.
But are they? They're also there to.
So basically, you saying that how much we really need, and so that's why I was getting to our moral sound, because I believe that we got so far away from economics and having great education, which is wonderful, and having great jobs, which is wonderful also. But we need to be more morally sound, because you got to remember they are our queens, and I believe that once we get back to treating them as such, I think that once we get back to loving them back to life, I think that surely I said we played a part in it, because like I said again, on one hand I will tell you I got a daughter, and and I love her, and I give all these morals, and then on the other hand I see some girls, some booty shorts, right, and I'll run and my tongue will start hanging from the ground. Let's be honest. So now how about, I don't want to see her as anything other than the queen that I know she is to be, and I want to tell you a little story through poetry, what I mean, like how sometimes what we think and what we see ain't always the same.
That's what's up. Speak on it, fam.
I still can hear her mama scream, cause her daughter met her maker. From this coward walking round, a child predator with some paper. He was wearing the latest fashion. He told her she was hot, and he just wanted to date her. But little did she know that this guy was a raper. Only thing he wanted was to watch her baby suffer. He tied her up in a house, now she's screaming for her mother. But nobody couldn't hear her, so she screamed a little louder. He seen the fear in her eyes, and it only made him feel prouder. Like Nick Styles at the tower. He say, now's got the power. 5 minutes went past, but it felt like an hour. He did things I couldn't even mention. In the bedroom, in the kitchen. She lost her life in the house, so won't you pay close attention? Look, all the glitters ain't gold, I'm just stating the fact. Just because your butt getting big and he telling you you fat, for one bad decision, you might not be able to make no more. So take your times, young lady. The streets ain't safe no more. See, I know we got chasing images. I know we like Benzes, and we teaching y'all to like things. We know we telling y'all all of these things, about your education, and but let's get back to morally grounding our women's, man. Let's get back to treating them as the queens that we know they are, because listen, we suffering from not doing that.
Well, I think that, when you go back to, does it take one person, or can one person spark? That's something that starts at home. You know what I mean? It's also something that has to be embedded in that person. If you're dealing with a woman who's 24, 25, with all kinds of issues and stuff like that, you can't expect that to go away, because you can actually treat a woman with the utmost respect, treat her like the queen that she's supposed to be, and she may not accept that because she's not used to that. She doesn't even know or understand the concept thereof. Right. You know what I mean? But if you're my daughter, you're not going to take anything less, because that's all I've treated you as, and that's all you should expect from any man and or person. You know what I mean? No one person is greater than you. You should not look down on anybody or look up to anybody because they might have more than you or whatever. The thing about it is that people, going back to the morals and values of things, people value things that they can possess than life itself. You know what I'm saying? Anything that anybody has, you can get, and if you can't, the other person should share it.
Okay, now listen, I'm glad you said what you said. So you didn't know, you just opened up the next topic, the final topic of the question.
I always do.
Listen to this. Ain't this beautiful? Listen to this. You says it has to be instilled in the family. But how about this? You know the adage, it takes a village to raise a child.
Okay.
When we gonna stop being a community globally as family? If we know this to be true, see, I call this, the Peter Parker effect. if you're not familiar with the story of Peter Parker, who is
I
Spider-Man,
know all about Spider-Man.
let me explain it to the people who don't. Peter Parker was out with his uncle, who raised him. They went to see a play. Okay? A man was committing a crime. Mind you, the man wasn't committing a crime against Peter Parker or his uncle at that point, but he was committing a crime. The man ran past Peter Parker. He did not stop him. He did not do anything because, like I said, once again, it didn't at that moment directly address him. Well, later on that night, his uncle was brutally murdered. He chases behind the culprit. He runs behind him, only to find out that the same person who eventually killed his uncle was the same person who committed the crime earlier. And so he actually could have prevented that earlier, but he thought it did not have nothing to do with him. But it's funny how small the world gets as soon as you leave your home.
That's true indeed.
That be the case. I understand that I come up at a time that, guess what? It's not the fact that I had to do and be so respectful when my mom's around, but when my neighbors, they see me do anything, oh shucks, that go Miss so-and-so, or that go Mr. so-and-so, because we was more or less as a community. And listen, I know they say, well, listen, long as my kids is doing wonderful, but you know what, Eric? Your kids are influenced by other people.
Without a doubt.
So if I